All right, guys, good evening, you all. Welcome to the 12th meeting of the Literary Circles. Today we're discussing chapter 13. I was telling you there are less people today. We are competing against Colo Colo in Libertadores. So it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult to make people decide to come here instead of watching the game. But anyways, so let's do it. Let's talk about this chapter. Things are getting interesting here. We were talking about this earlier today with Jorge, and I would like to hear your opinions. Juan Pablo, Ricardo, you this time you were a little bit more connected to the story. You could understand maybe a little bit more. So let's start with Juan Pablo. I would like to hear your opinions and thoughts about the chapter.
Okay, thank you. Yes, now this time I was able to read more the first chapters. I couldn't reach to read all the chapters, but I saw the rest summaries of the like the chapters in between.
Yeah.
And I guess I believe chapter 13 is very interesting, very short and intense, because also the narrator kind of takes you to a trip in which the story that he tells is very interesting of hearing, also with very interesting with his tone and everything.
Yes.
um, and well, I guess that obviously there's a conflict between the like romantic idea of John, and I would say that is like extremely romantic. It's too much,
Mhm.
and against the behavior of like more kind of cold behavior from Lenina. And then suddenly John's romantic idea contrasts with his violent reaction against Lenina's behavior. And I would say my conclusion of the chapter is don't be so fanatic about any author. It's
Yeah,
not
don't
good,
get
because
obsessed.
don't get obsessed, because I believe that John is like obsessed, too much obsessed with is so obsessed with Shakespearean kind of uh, see his life and living his life, that um, it uh, it stands in front of him, and to be able to live maybe, well, it has to be, it's related to with the culture that John got while he was a child.
Yes. Uh,
That's
yes,
more,
actually,
more
that's
or less.
no, but you were perfect. That's actually where we will, that's that. Where we will go in a few minutes. We'll talk about why John is this way and for what reasons he is so aggressive, because we see a very aggressive version of John this time. He hasn't been aggressive before. He's always been kind, always a good guy. He's a savage who's not a savage. But now he's acting like a savage. So we're gonna discuss why, and we're gonna discuss the repercussions of this, and all the reasons behind it. Also, at the end of the chapter, we have new information about Linda. We were wondering about her, so we're gonna discuss that too. Thank you, Juan Pablo. Let's go with one of the oldies, the old comers to these meetings. Felipe, what are your thoughts on the chapter?
Yes, I found the chapter very interesting. Uh, it's a very good summary that Juan Pablo made. I agree with him that it's mostly about this contrast between two views of love or relationships in general or encounters. uh, because Lenina, coming from this world, she's very practical, she's very free and unafraid to make uh, advancements and seduction and that kind of things. And from the other point of view, John is very unexperienced and he idolized. That's I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
like like ideal, like idolize, idolatrar.
yes.
I think it's idolize. I would say idolize.
He,
I don't know
he
about Cambridge, but I'll say that.
yeah, I think he idolized Lenina because I think that he doesn't even know her too well, but he's like very like she's Juliet
Yeah.
in his books. So I think that there are two extremes that all extremes are bad.
Yeah.
And when the breaking point, he becomes very violent and calls her a whore. It's maybe because he's using what he knows about his culture, which is religion. And religion is very uh, minded about sexuality, and uh, sexuality is like a sin.
Yes.
So I think that's why he behaves in a very bad manner.
Yes, it's kind of, I think I feel sorry for John, to be honest. I think I understand. Of course, I don't support violence, especially not against women, but I think I understand why he is so confused. These are two opposite perspectives of love, and he's now in a world where everybody tells him that he's wrong, and he used to live in a world where everybody used to tell him that he was wrong too, because his mother, the only person who talked to him, was always telling him that this was the way. So now that he's in that system, he doesn't understand how it works. And yes, I agree with you, he has a very idolized or idyllic, I think, version of love with Lenina. He doesn't even know her, and he's telling her that he loves her more than anything in the world. He barely knows her. So we know that he doesn't know what love is, and Lenina doesn't know what love is either. She's never asking him, "Do you love me?" She's always like, "Do you like me?" That's all she
Mm.
needs to feel love. So
Yes.
I guess we all have been there somewhere, somehow in our lives. So maybe we can relate easily with these feelings. Maybe sometimes we've been Lenina, sometimes we've been a little bit John. At least it was my case growing up. So maybe we can relate, and we can also. I think that we have many things here, many issues that we can see in our world nowadays. So we can discuss them. Ricardo, how about you? How was your experience with the book this time? Did you read, listen? How was your experience and your opinion on the chapter?
In this opportunity, I take the time to learn about the book,
Yeah,
but don't read the full book. I just read the resume,
yeah, the
uh,
summaries.
yes, the summaries, and I understand about the drama of the history.
Yeah, the blood.
The history speak about the future, but I think that is the present uh, when two kinds of um, societies uh, make a kind of mixed match between John and Lenina and the other personajes. The chapter talk about a situation between Lenina and John. Lenina, she doesn't know how she feeling. She is a kind of in love of John, and John have a kind of sentimiento from Lenina,
Lenina.
Lenina. And Lenina, for his, no, for she's, um, por su forma de estar en la sociedad, no sé cómo puedo decir eso.
For the way she behaves in the society, she acts. Yeah.
She has a point of view about the sex different like John. John lives in a kind of selva
Yes.
with a normal persons and with another point of view. John don't act normally or good because he is trató mal
Yes. He was very violent.
with Lenina, but he have in his mind a concept different about the love. He knows the love about for a book for Shakespeare, and the Lenina she doesn't uh, this point of view, and then Lenina for his personality just make the hizo lo que siempre hacía.
Yes. What she had to do. I mean, her friend told her, everybody told her, that's the way you should act.
Yes, but John never have this point of view, and and yeah, and for all these situations se generó ese gran problema y pasó lo que pasó y ambos no entendieron lo que tenían que entender.
So, because of that, what happened, and none of them understood what they had to understand. Yes. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. He has a Shakespearean version of love, which is of course not true. I mean, there's no need to kill yourself at 14 if you cannot marry the guy you love, for example. And yeah, he has this very dramatic and tragic perspective of what love is. And on the other hand, Lenina has no idea what love is because love is not a thing in the world stage. So they're both trying to deal with their feelings because they feel love. Is like you cannot help feel something for someone, but they are trying to make their best. They're trying their best to adapt to this love they feel in a world where love is not a thing. So they're doing their best, but yeah, of course, it's not working out. I think Lenina does like John. She is in love with John, maybe more than John is in love with her. But she doesn't know that what she feels is love. She admires him a lot. She likes him because he's different. She likes him because of the way he feels, the way he thinks, the way he reacts. She's kind of more aware of his real self, like his personality, than he is of her. He's always thinking of her as this Juliet, as Felipe was saying, that's very perfect figure. He doesn't even understand or take the time to realize how different she is. So yeah, I agree with you and all of you that they cannot find a common place to experience love. So, Jorge, what are your thoughts on these matters?
I agree with you about. Wait, I agree with you about the feelings of Lenina. I think Lenina is falling in love for John, and John, me too. O sea, ¿cómo se dice? ¿Me escuchan?
Yes, yes.
Ah, ok. Um, y, I like this chapter because we can um, we can see the strange relation from John and Lenina, but I think they are in love, but that you said that John is an inexperienced and Lenina have very experienced, or she have a lot of or other knowledge of the life.
But yeah, but just sexually experienced. Just
Uh,
it's only about that. She doesn't know love anyway. But yeah, sorry, continue.
and John is probably is virgin, and you know, but your opinions is are the same, and about the difference of knowledge, dice knowledge, conocimiento.
Yes.
But I see other thing, because I don't understand the behavior of John and Lenina completely, and I think that because I read the previous chapters, and I remember the situation of Linda, and maybe John is
Traumatized.
for the traumatized for the things of his mother, the violence, and maybe John have problems, and maybe in the future of the book will be will be a killer. I don't know, because it's very strange. And if you love somewhere, you don't react uh, for his violence. Um, and this is my opinion in general. My partners, said a very good summaries of the chapter, and it's very interesting because the transformation of the character it's interesting. You can see Bernard is firstly is a good boy, and now it's a bad boy, or Lenina is maybe I don't no lazy, but it's not stupid, but it's more, what is
Naive.
it,
Naive.
naive,
Yes.
yeah. But now it's a girl with different interests, but she is in love. Is a good girl, and John, a little savage, a little bonita, no, it's a really savage, and maybe I think for the the final part of the chapter, maybe John could be becoming a criminal, I think.
Yes. Yes, we talked about that. So yes, we can totally see the transformation from of the three main characters. We saw we at the beginning, you were not here, but we were all cheering up for Bernard. We were all feeling for Bernard. He's an outcast. He's rejected. He's such a good boy. He has good intentions. And we were actually happy when we found when he found John the Savage and Linda. And we thought, we discussed in previous meeting, that maybe he would change the world with these people and he will help them, blah blah blah. But then we see now that Bernard is not it's not as much as a good boy as we thought. He's very selfish. It's all about himself. He's planning things to overcome his opponents or anyone who threatens him with taking off his popularity and anything that he has. So he's very selfish and very competitive. We don't like him anymore. I guess we all agree on that. On the other hand, we have Lenina at the beginning. For us, she was like this silly girl. She was very naive and almost silly. She couldn't understand why Bernard was different. She couldn't think of other possibilities in this world, nothing. And now she's, I think, the only one who's actually aware of what's going on here. She's the only one who's actually feeling things, real things, and allowing herself to experience those feelings without having a total mental breakdown, which is what happened to John. He had like a psychotic break. He was okay, and all of a sudden, he started like feeling rage. And I think that's what happens. I think that probably that's what happens to men who kill women. We have, I think that we can discuss. It's a bad thing that girls are not here. I'm all alone here. But this is like, I think that this shows patriarcado and what it does to some men, that throughout their lives they are like always pushed to towards violence. They're always exposed to a lot of violence, and they don't know how to deal with their feelings. So not all of you, of course, but some. And then when it comes to feeling things, and they don't know how to handle them, and they have these psychotic breaks where all of the violence and the aggressions they have experienced come, and sometimes they end up hurting. At least he hurt Lenina. She was afraid. She was so afraid. She even was afraid of being murdered. Like she was she locked herself. This was very dramatic. I was thinking of the situation. I was like, wow, I cannot imagine myself in that place. So yeah, I would like to talk about that. Felipe, what do you think about why do you think John reacted this way? What happened to him?
Okay, first, the thing that I think that triggers this is that John is very unexperienced, and Lenina, ¿verdad? Lenina was very open, so he became somewhat afraid. But that's the situation that triggers it. But the real cause behind it, I think that John was educated in a very archaic culture with a strong religious belief, where sex before marriage is maybe a sin. Women are either idolized or seen as a sin, as a whore or whatever, but not as a person. So I think that kind of teaching is the reason that John is very violent and very. He judged Lenina, calling her a whore, but I think that John wanted the same as Lenina in that situation. So that is very hypocrite.
Yeah, hypocrite. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that in the case of John's mother, I remember that the same people calling her whore or whatever, or hurting her, that was a traumatic situation for John. and he tries to repeat the same with Lenin.
Yes, this is like the classical case of violence inside families and couples, where you see that this is like a cycle that goes over and over again. Maybe you were not able to listen to those chapters, but in a few chapters ago, John was remembering his childhood. We see that John has always been rejected. He's always been neglected also by his mother. He's always been different. He's never been understood by society. And his mother was called whore by other women on the city, on the El Pueblo, no, something like that was the name of the reservation where they came from. So the other women were calling their mother that way because she had sex with others before marriage, or without marriage in this case. And he saw this throughout his life. It was probably very traumatic for him, and he's just reproducing the same experience he saw, or the same things he saw as a kid. And I don't know, I would like to hear your perspectives as men here on this matter. Because, for example, the other day, a woman was, 2 days ago, a day ago, yesterday, yes. A woman was killed here in Curicó. A woman was raped and killed. And you start wondering, like, how come these things happen still when we are all talking about, like, oh, we should stop hurting women, women are the same, blah, blah, blah. And you still see things like this. Um, John, in this case, he is in a society where everybody is okay with women being sexually active, but he is aggressive anyway. Like, it's the same case. It's like, oh, we are all okay with this. They are the same, but he is rejecting her because of the same reason. So I would like to hear your opinions. Ricardo, maybe you would like to share with us your opinion on why do you think John was reacted this way, and what's your perspective on this matter as a man?
Okay, I tried to do my best effort.
Yes, don't worry, we can understand you.
About the first point, the book talk about the perspective about John. John is a mix of, about savage and civilization people, and for his him naturaleza,
His
uh,
nature.
nature, he lives in a kind of limbo. And for the situation of his mother, he take to expect to see to live with problems because his mother comes from the civilization, and when she returned to the selva, uh, he has very problem with the women's of de ese lugar.
Yes.
Then John capturó all this information in his mind, and obviously he's hizo cortocircuito en su cabeza.
Yes, it has a mental breakdown.
Yes, and when John traveled to the civilization and take to live the another perspective, he just do the only thing that he know in this moment. This is his problem. Su cultura,
Yes, it's his background. His
yes.
background. He went through it. There's nothing he can
Lenina
do about that.
Lenina always has the unique form to take the sex without limits or rules. Um, my perspective is the same that Felipe and Juan Pablo says, that is for experience. You have a problem with your experience. Is a kind of novato. This experience give him this context. No sabría
And
qué más.
and what do you think of when we put these cases like this in our world?
¿Cómo?
For example, when we take cases like this, like the example in the book, like John and Lenina, his background, all the violence he experienced in our world now, in the present.
Our world.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your perspective on other men like John who also suffered traumatic experiences as kids that then react violently with other women?
I think the same. It's a little complicated to explain in English, but I think that all we have image, perspective, and this is perspective van cambiando with the time, and when occur this kind of situation when a man agrede to a woman or viceversa,
Yes.
it's just por profundidad solamente, o sea, es un tema de experiencia, no podría decirlo de otra forma, no han tenido la oportunidad de abrir un poco más su mente y su conciencia para entender que no somos reglas, sino que somos seres humanos que sentimos y hacemos cosas por naturaleza.
Yeah, we have talked a little bit about that, about human nature, like understanding or seeing ourselves as animals, and that as animals there are things we can control. I mean, we can control our impulses, but sometimes we are not able to. Like they overcome us. We've seen people being overcome by impulses here in the book many times. We saw the director being overcome by impulse. We saw John. We saw Lenina. We saw Bernard. We saw all of them. That there has to be a moment in life where you just cannot control yourself. And now the consequences of that may be influenced by your past, because since you cannot control, it's just impulses, it's just unconscious, or not unconscious, conscious, but involuntary reactions you have that has some background on what happened to you. So yeah, I agree with you. Even as a woman, I agree that I see John as a victim. I think that a lot of what we're seeing now, violence against women and sometimes against men, are repercussions of a very violent society. The world we live in is violent, and the world John grew up was also very violent. So I think it has to do with that. Thank you, Ricardo. We were able to understand you. Now try. It's always important to always try to say it in English, even if they're not the same words that you have. I always tell this to my students. Even if you cannot think of the big words you have in your brain in Spanish, where you have an amazing idea that you can deliver, try to express the same idea in English. It's gonna be simpler, yes, of course, because your vocabulary is simpler in English than in Spanish, but we would get the same idea. So don't worry about that. Jorge, what do you think? What's your perspective as a man here on this discussion? We cannot hear you.
Firstly, from the patriarcado, maybe, or patriarchy.
Patriarcado. There is no word for
Patriarcado.
machismo nor patriarcado.
Okay.
Patriarchy, we can say maybe.
Okay. I have to say something because us, my partners be men's, and I think we must try to control the natural reactions and acts always with reason, because that is a problem in our society, because maybe the man's for his culture and education don't have limits. Maybe we can do everything, and maybe in a little moment in of commit a act, um, in this little moment, the culture, the patriarcado, or the signals, I don't know, you you think that you'll be able to do it. It's freak, but I think that this is the first part of my speech, maybe.
Yeah, perfect.
um, um, I think that for John, this his problem is the insecurity, and his problem is the problem of our men society. And my partners, not you, but about in abstract, the men's, no, have a big problem with the security, because with a woman said me no, I could be angry, and this is the same thing with John. But
But the other way around, yes.
well, the other way, yeah. But you can't make a solution with a problem with security, and you can excuse John, but John, when he decide to to go outside the Malpais, to the industry, to new world, they have to accept new rules. You can think that you can, yeah, you can think in Mapuche, for example. If the Mapuche is is in Gualmapu, in Biobío, they could be have their own rules, but when the Mapuche go to Santiago and make a acts with illegal, they have to respond to society, you know.
Yeah.
And this is my speech. This is it.
It was very, I couldn't agree less. I completely agree with you. I see John as a victim here. I mean, a victim of the society that creates these kinds of people that can become monsters any second. But John is not most men, because most men, I guess most of you have been exposed to this violent society and these benefits of being a man and all that. But most men have the opportunity of having education, as we all do, of going to university, of listening to other perspectives, and understanding that as a culture we have changed and that we have to adapt to those new rules. Even if you were raised in a different way, even if, for example, let's say your father used to hit your mother, you always saw that, you took it as a normal thing. You know that you cannot hit your wife, or not in privacy, not even less on the streets, because socially we agreed that that's wrong. So that's the moment where when we can stop for a second and say, like, no. But what happens, this system we live in allows or supports those idea that at that moment, that very critic moment, when you have like a mental breakdown and you collapse, the system supports you, because you've always been told that like somehow some women deserve this. So maybe that's what happened to John. He loves Lenina, he likes her, he always saw violence, but he still wants to be with her, he still wants to try loving her. But what happened when he collapsed? He remembered all the sayings, all the times that it was okay to hurt his mother, when it was okay to call his mother a whore, and the system, even though the world state is not the same, his cultural background supported him. So maybe that's why we are fighting so hard against this system, because it's at the end, it doesn't matter if you always tell the kids that this is not right, that we women are the same, that it's not okay to use violence. Anyhow, the system is supporting you at the end. So that's why we have to break it, I think. Juan Pablo, what do you think?
Well, the thing that I found very curious that uh, about that moment and that reaction of John's reaction is that actually he was in a very strong feeling about Lenina, and like you said before, um, the two of them was feeling love, each one in his or her own way, in from his or from her own perspective of love. But finally, when John is with Lenina, he was feeling love with her. So my question, and what I find curious, is how love, how such a strong and deep feeling, a good feeling, a positive feeling for a person, transforms into a violent act. That's what I finally can understand, because we can, like, as some of you, like you said before, we can understand or think about the background of a person and the um, uh, situations that the person has to live when he was a child, etc. But anyway, as Alicia said before, um, we have to grow and we have to start thinking, and that's what we are experiencing now in our society, in our life, experiencing that we have to think about the all of the actions we decide to do, and start to ask about them, if they are right or wrong, each one of them. So I don't know, I believe that uh, based in his feeling about Lenina, John definitely uh, shouldn't have beaten her, shouldn't have hit her.
Yeah.
Definitely, he shouldn't have done that. It was not necessary. No sé, I don't know if it's um, enough reasons to think about the background of a person. I believe that I would be more critical about his actions, and I believe that he should have. It's strange how one thing become another. I don't know.
So yeah, many
It's
many
very.
many
Mhm.
interesting points. A lot of interesting points here to discuss. First, there is some research about love and how easily we can switch from love to hate. It's like very similar emotions. They are like, I'm
Mm.
no neuroscientist, but I would say they're on the same place or nearby. So it's a very fine, close line between those two emotions. And I guess we have all experienced that when we break up with someone. You love that person and then you hate that person not for not loving you back or for having feelings and all that. Of course, we don't hurt the ones we love because we feel hate, but we are able to control ourselves and just cry, cry on your pillow and talk to your friends about that. So, but that's what John does not do because the only person he's related to in this world, the only person that cared about him is his mother, and his mother is in a coma, in a soma overdose, soma coma, as we said. Um, he has no friends. He only friend is Bernard, who's not his friend at all. He's not interested in his well-being. Mustafa is weird. He doesn't know him. And Lenina is the other one. But something that was very interesting for me, and I think you went there a little bit, is that John did not regret being violent. He was angry after all. Like she was locked in the bathroom asking him for her clothes, and he was still angry at her. It wasn't like he reacted and then stopped. It's like, oh, sorry, Lenina, I don't know how this happened. He was okay with it. And she was not freaking out as she should be. She was still a little bit okay with it. Because I guess this has to do with love, with the fact that they don't know what love is. So they don't know how these two reactions go against love. She was at the same time, I would have to add, and I would like to hear your opinions on this, that maybe Lenina was somehow abusing him. He told her not that he did not want to have sex. He told her to stop getting naked when she was starting to undress. And he started feeling the pressure of having sex. So, of course, that does not allow you to hurt someone that way. But I don't know if you agree, Felipe. Do you agree that do you think that Lenina was somehow molesting or abusing John?
In a way, yes. I think that it's a very good exercise to uh, place in the take the place of the other gender. Eh, Maybe if it were backwards, we will have no doubt
Yeah.
that it was sexual harassment. In this case, I think it was in a way because John was kind of scared or something like that. Uh, of course, that doesn't justify his violent actions, but I think that Lelina that didn't saw that John was uncomfortable. So yeah, I think that's harassment. Maybe John liked it a little bit. I don't know, but in the end, he wasn't comfortable.
Yeah. I don't even think he liked it. I mean, he liked the kiss. He mentioned that he was awesome to feel her soft lips and all that, but he didn't want to have sex. Definitely. He told her that he wanted to do something for her first to show and prove his love. So, Ricardo, what do you think? Do you think that John was being harassed by Lenina a little bit? Would you feel harassed? I mean, we're different because I guess we're no
Sorry, but
virgins and all that,
I
but
can't understand your question.
you could
Can you
or you
repeat
couldn't.
more
Ah, yeah,
slowly?
sorry. Yeah, sure. Um, we were trying to say that at the beginning, John was like, it's okay to kiss. Let's to ask you this question. Let's first put this situation in, and as Felipe said, now Lenina will be John and John will be Lenina. Let's say I or any woman is with a man and she wants to kiss that man. It's okay, just kissing. But then the man start pushing her neck close to him and getting naked, getting like taking off his clothes and trying to force things to happen. And then she reacts violently, push him away, and calls him asshole, you're an asshole, you're blah blah blah, the bad words. Now, that's exactly what happened here, but the other way around. Lenina was harassing or like pushing, let's say pushing John to have sex or like asking for that. Do you think that that's harassment and that somehow explains his reaction?
Disculpa, pero lo último que dijiste no lo entendí.
Harassment is acoso. Do you
Okay.
think that would be like abuse or some form of sexual offer, let's say, the sexual invitation that was not proper?
I know that this class is in English. I know, really, I know. But me cuesta mucho.
But do your best.
Again, please.
Sure,
More
no
slow.
problem, no problem, no problem. My question is if you think that what Lenina did to John was a form of sexual abuse.
Si Lenina abusó de John.
Yeah, and, or what she was doing when she was taking off her clothes, trying to force him.
I think that if it's a woman or a man, if one of two say no for a kind of act of sex or lo que sea, is no.
No is no, yes. Horrible expression, no is no, yes. But yeah, I agree.
Then and if John feels bad for this situation and Lenina keep going, it's a kind of abuse. For me, it's
yes, for me too. Don't feel alone here. I think we are all with you. Are we all in the
aunque
same
suene un
page
poco
here?
raro y real, pero
Yeah, it's not actually. I think it's not that uncommon. I know a lot of my friends that I think have been in this situation. But same patriarcado is also pushing you guys to prove that you are so men that you will say yes, even if you don't want to say yes. And we women, we go through that every day. So don't you feel bad, because that's everyday life for us. But yeah, I think that this idea of like you have to say yes, it was very deep and very strong in our society for both of you. You men always have to want to have sex, and we women, we have to say yes because we're women. So I think that this is the problem here. What you were saying, Ricardo, exactly. No is no. And that's one of the idea that we're trying to include in our thinking nowadays, that we have to respect no. If you don't want to do something, just say no, and I will accept that answer as a woman or as a man. So before we move to last issue to discuss, would any of you like to add any comment on this patriarcado thing that we were talking about?
Yes, Juan Pablo.
Yeah.
No, go on. I go
Okay.
after.
Thank you. It's a very interesting theme because it's sadly that my woman partners of the literary circle don't stay, but whatever. But I think definitely that Lenina maybe not abuse, but in arrest.
Harassed.
Sorry?
Arrest is like arresto. Harassed.
Arrest. Okay. In the legal terms, maybe was estupro. You know, maybe when he said when you use your position of experience. Thank you.
Yes,
when you
thank you.
Yes, when you use your experience and your position, cultural position to commit something, it's a sexual offense. Absolutely. Thanks, Felipe. And I think it's more common that what one think, because for the patriarcado, because for the woman it's very common, but the man is the same thing. But I one difference. For women is worse because in the many opportunities they was rapists. It's very fatal, and in the case of the men's, it's something weird, because in this situation when the woman wanna have sex and the men know or know have the the intention, the men have sex, but not with emotion, but only have. And but is a strange situation, because the men, the consent in his mind is no.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but they have sex.
Yeah,
This is
but
my opinion.
I think that it has to do what you were trying to say here, or that it's not rape. Most of the time, it does not end up in rape, as it happens with women. It has to do with violence. That the violence that you men, as men, have always been exposed to. You are violent beings, not by nature, but by social construction,
By culture.
by culture. Yes, you become more aggressive. So the sex experience we receive is more violent because you are more aggressive, and physically you can overcome us. Like you can control us physically because you are naturally bigger. So
Yeah,
it's not. Yes.
John was easily able to overcome Lenina with just a slap
Yeah,
or
just a
something like
slap.
that,
Yeah.
and the story ended there.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we were able to, if we had the same strength that you have, maybe a lot more women would be able to like get rid of their abusers or rapers. But it doesn't happen that way because most of the time we're smaller, shorter, thinner, and we cannot overcome you. So that's why I think it ends in rape. But I mean, it's less violent, maybe the less violent act, but it's rape anyway. You are forcing someone to have sex. And I think that using your knowledge is abuse. I always have this discussion with my friends. Like we discuss it. One thing is the legal side of being with someone that that person is over 18, so we can have sex. And other thing is a difference in experience that you have compared to someone that is a lot younger than you. So it's the same here. John is not maybe not younger, but he's like a little kid. He has these very 14, 15 teenagers ideas of love. And Lenina is on the other side of the street. So she's somehow abusing him. She's using all her sexual knowledge to force him to do what she wants to do, even though he's saying no. So Juan Pablo, you had a comment too.
Yes, I was thinking about what you just said, but no, I was gonna say like a short thing about the noise no stuff that is curious, and I think that we have to notice that this thing about no is no, you can see it from the very beginning of even a conversation, a chat or something. You sometimes we can see it when for example, I mean we all men, especially men, but everyone in general, we are called to see this thing about when we start talking with someone through a chat, and or any conversation in general, and you start to talk to somebody, and in at at some point that person shows you that
Not interested.
no, there is no answer, or I just don't want to answer you, don't want to talk to you, and you insist, that is the point where
Are you
you
there? Are you there? Are
where,
you there? Hello,
yeah,
hello, hello.
where you trespass that so it's like a thing of language, I guess. It's
Yeah,
in the world of language
I
when
would say that it has to do more with patriarcado because uh, I would never do that because we as a woman I was taught not to be rejected. Like that's the worst thing that can happen to a woman, be rejected. So, for example, even if I really like you, I wouldn't insist because I don't want to be rejected. And
mm,
you are always taught that it's okay to be rejected because we women we have to reject you many times before saying yes. Because that's when a woman, even the president made that comment. When a woman said yes, she wants to say no. Asshole.
uh,
So you guys are used to pushing, 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 and it's like, are you there? Are you there? And we are like, sometimes I want to ask you, are you there? But I won't because that I would be too obvious in showing you my intentions. So maybe it's not even language; it's also this horrible culture that we have created and that we want to change. Society, I would say.
so how how do you woman here believe it should be?
I think we all should be respectful, or more. I think it has to do with being straight. Like, I think I always ask my friends, like, what if a girl comes to you like Lenina, like, hey, I want to have sex. Would you be like, sure, me too, let's go? Or like, oh wow, but we're friends, but we have to go on a date, or like, or get complicated because we have these ideas that it's not okay to be straight, that we have to go around many times. So maybe if we lived in a society where it's okay to be honest, or like say no, thank you, I don't want to, or yes, I do. None of us would have this problem because we have the problem that I think I've missed a lot of chances are where guys were waiting for me to show some interest and I was like too constructed to not show my interest. And the same way around, the other way around. Maybe some guy was not that interested, but I thought he was so annoying, so we stopped talking. I don't know. Any other comments on this matter before we close it? No? Yes?
It's like somebody said before, I was going to say something, I lost it.
Don't worry.
Um,
I like to
uh,
say something.
Yes.
Uh, only for defend John and for be lawyer of devil of lawyer.
The devil's advocate.
lawyer of the devil,
Yeah, the actual word is devil's
devil's lawyer.
advocate.
Uh,
That's
devil advocate.
yeah, devil's advocate.
Okay.
Abogado del diablo.
Okay. We can think that Lenina is drug addict by the Soma.
Yes.
For all the societies drug addict, and John maybe again we can become a victim.
Yes. And his mother was an alcoholic too. Remember, Linda was always drinking mezcal, mezcal, mezcal all day and passed out on the bed.
Peyote.
Ah?
And peyote.
And yeah, she used to take peyote, and there's soma also here. There are many drugs. He doesn't take any drugs. So he's afraid. I mean, I think he's an asshole for the way he behaved with Lenina, but he's afraid. He's being attacked by everyone, sexually attacked, personally attacked, socially, everything. So at the end, at the very end, this very horrible situation. I guess it's like he was not showing, but he was very distressed by this, and Lenina was freaking out. There is a phone call, and it's from the hospital or somewhere like that, and they're telling him that to make matters worse, his mother is dying. I mean, they don't say she's dying, but they call him from the hospital to tell him that he should visit his mother. We can understand that she is dying because the doctors said before that she was taking so much soma that she would get an overdose. So, what do you think is going to happen if? I would like to hear first. Do you think that Linda will die? And then, what will happen when she dies? Like because he's losing it. Now his mother is dying. Let's go to the newest. Ricardo, what do you think? What do you think
About
is gonna
Linda,
happen? Yeah, will she die? And what happened to John when she dies? If she dies?
I think Linda died, but in coma state.
Yeah. She will be like coma zoma forever.
Yes.
And what do you
This
think is gonna happen to him? How do you think he'll react to losing
with,
his mother?
with John.
Yeah.
With John.
Yes.
Uh, John and Melina. Melina.
Lenina. Melina is
Lenina.
Camilo Sestos. It's a great song.
Okay.
But no, this is Lenina, like Lenin.
I think that John m- must learn in the next chapter about how works this society and finish with sex with Lenina.
So you think he'll finally like okay, give up and accept this brave new world?
Yes.
Very optimistic. We have in previous meeting we have said that he's not gonna be okay with it, and this is gonna have a tragic ending. But I love optimism. Thank you for bringing optimism to this meeting. I don't think that there will be much optimism left. So let's go with Jorge. What do you think? What first? Do you think Linda's gonna die? Second, what's gonna happen to John after that?
I think Linda is gonna die, and John will be crazy and maybe kill something or somewhere.
Something. I will kill you
Uh,
table.
yes, yes, because John now it's not a healthy, mental healthy.
Yeah, he's not in a good place. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's gonna do something bad at least. Maybe not kill you, but something. Maybe put a bomb. Felipe, what do you think?
I think that Linda is going to die, and John is gonna be feel very lonely, uh, very sad because it's the only female important female figure in his life, and maybe this will have an opportunity for Lenina to connect with John in other way, in a more emotional way, rather than the first encounter. I think that's a possibility. Uh, but I think Bernard is going to come to the picture and ruin their relationship or whatever.
Yeah, we cannot forget about Bernard. Maybe we didn't see or hear about him this chapter, but he's still around and he's not good. So yeah, I agree. I was going to say that Lenina is going to do what most women do. We take on your mother's places. It's like you move from your mother to your girlfriend. But yeah, it's I actually know a lot of couples that started their relationship when something like this happened. When one of them lost their mother figure or parent figure, and the other person somehow takes a little bit of that place. Not in a sick way, but in a Edipo and Electra way. So yeah. And now Bernard is about around the corner. I think the same way. Maybe Lenina will be like, "Oh yeah, let me hug you. You feel bad," and would like comfort him, but at the same time, Bernard will do something to ruin it all. Yeah, Juan Pablo, what do you think?
I go for with the mother of John's mother. What was
Linda.
her name? Linda.
Linda.
Thank you. Linda dies, and John, like very similar to Jorge. What Jorge says. John become kind of crazy and start acting like in a more problematic attitude, but
Even more. Even worse.
even
The
more.
worst. Yeah.
Or yes, or keep doing that, and beyond there, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I wouldn't take the. I wouldn't say something about Bernard because I haven't been so related with that character. I don't know if, but I agree with you that it already had he already has shown its problematic side.
His dark
So
side.
yeah, its dark side.
Yeah. Maybe we're coming like full circle. At the beginning, we were saying this. Bernard was a hero. Now he is the antagonist. But maybe, for example, like John, he was the savage, and now he was like the most civilized man, and now he's going back to savage. Lenina was a silly girl, and then she became the smart girl, but then she like immediately excused John. So maybe she's becoming silly again, and maybe Bernard will be a hero here again. Maybe they're like maybe this is what maybe that's it. If I was Aldous Huxley, that would be my master movement. Like you thought that it was going somewhere different, but no. But maybe that would be what happened. We don't know. We don't know yet. We are almost there, almost in the end. For next meeting, I would like us to listen and read and listen and read to chapter 14 and 15. The two of them together, we can discuss them, and then it's going to be just two more meetings after next meeting, two more meetings, and that'll be. So we're getting there. Things are coming clear, and things are getting even better. So I would like to deeply first thank you for the discussion today. It was really interesting. I think it was a bad thing that the girls were not here, but at the same time, it was such a good chance to talk about this with only men, smart men. So thank you for your opinions, for your honesty, and for being respectful. And thank you for sharing your ideas, your thoughts, and for being here. Oh, thank you. I guess I'll
Thank
see
you.
you now. Yeah, so I guess I'll see you next Wednesday. Same time, same place, discussing chapter 14 and 15. Okay? Thank you
you.
guys. I had an awesome time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care. Have a great
Bye.
Thank you.
week.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.